Hey guys, Stefano here, and today we're going back in the past, 80s, The Breakfast Club. It's gonna be so much fun. But I'm here with Luisa, an amazing pastry chef, and someone that loves her 80s movies.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you to Stefano for having me on here.
No problem. The Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez, that's the number. He's amazing. The cast of this film was ahead of their time. They're all incredible artists, really. So the movie actually takes place in the 80s, 1985 to be exact, and they're all somewhat different from what they do. One's a sports guy, one's a badass.
No good goddamn freeloading son of a...
Bender.
Yeah, Bender. He's just badass. He's one of those guys that you don't want to mess around. He does the drugs and stuff like that. And then you have the prissy girl, her name is Claire.
Yeah.
So basically, they're all in detention. They're all in like a weekend detention because they've all done one thing wrong or another. Yeah. And it's such an amazing collaboration of incredible artists, and they're just up to hijinks.
Yeah.
That's all they pretty much do. Okay, so we have Werner catches Bender playing basketball in the gym. Oh, Vernon!
Are you sure?
The Breakfast Club. It's probably one of the best movies that came out of the 80s. I'll be very honest with you. 85 was the year that The Breakfast Club ruled. To put all these students that would otherwise never talk in detention when Vernon, what a name. Vernon, the principal of the school, he basically hates the fact that he has to be there because it's summer break. He wants to be away at home, relaxing, but he has to be with these people, so he's super pissed. Then they get up to these hijinks. Of course, they smoke their drugs, but Bender...
Eat my shorts.
Classic guy. Bender, he's one of those badass students that he's always going to be there the rest of his life. He'll probably never accomplish anything. And then there's the jock, there's the princess, there's the outsider, the loner, and then we have the nerd.
What is this? What is that? What is that?
This is a classic 1985 teenage problem where there's so much of a clash in high school, even nowadays, same thing. Yeah. And they all have their own mentality of what they want to do, but then they get together.
Yeah, and then they all hear each other's problems and then find out that they're not so different after all, that they're actually quite similar with, the regular teenage problems that they may have or may go through it at school or at home. Classic
comedy.
Yeah.
The 80s music in this movie, ask anyone, it has some of the best 80s music that came out.
Yeah.
It's just a classic soundtrack with impeccable acting and, to be quite honest, a great concept, great story.
Yeah.
So let's do the first. We're going to do a new ranking here on this show where I want to do it based out of 5. 1 meaning you didn't like it so much, 5 meaning you loved it. Okay? So the first thing we have to do, and I want to ask you, is what did you take from the acting of the whole movie? What would you rate it as?
I would rate the acting a 5. For it being an 80s movies, I would say it's a 5. I thought everyone did really great in it. It
was a great concept, and I think every character that they cast was the right choice.
Yeah.
I would rate it also as a 5, mainly because some of the iconic actors that came out of the 80s, like Emilio Estevez with the Mighty Ducks. Next, we got to talk about the story. Now, out of 5, how would you rate the story on this movie?
I thought the story was a 5 also. I really like how they portrayed everything and just laid it out. It was very easy to follow, and I thought it was very good.
I probably wouldn't go as far as a 5.
Really?
Well, because the story was great. I like the concept, but in the 80s, if you watch a lot of them high school, teenage 80s movies, they all had along the same lines. There was always the punks, there was always the delinquents, there was always the sporty jock guys. There was always that kind of, cliche that was happening in the 80s. I would probably rank it as a 4. Just because it was done a lot. The Breakfast Club did it in a way where they put them all in one room.
Exactly.
But it was all the same thing. There was, the jocks were the jocks.
I'll disagree.
Emilio!
Okay. Lastly, we got to talk about score, the soundtrack of this movie. I think we can equally say it was a 5.
It's a 5.
5 across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I would highly recommend, if you haven't watched this movie, which I think think pretty much everyone on the planet has.
Yeah, I hope so.
100% check out the soundtrack.
Yeah. Did you see that part when Brian puts the pencils in his nose and he says, I'm a Rorus?
Cut it out!
You through?
That's it, guys. That's the movie review. I honestly, it's one of those nostalgic films that pretty much everyone's watched, but it's always nice to review it because it brings you back into the era where movies were rich in content, and I absolutely love this movie. So, of course, if you want to check out Louisa's pastry chef incredible work on Instagram, link is in the description. For sure, you can check her out. But don't go away. If you love Louisa, you're going to love her even more because there's another movie that we're going to be doing, Louisa and I, and it's Snowden. Now, Snowden, we all know which one this is. He gets information with the CIA. He feels like they're holding it all in, but he exposed it to the world. And this is a movie I think we're going to review because we are complete polar opposites on this concept. So if you want to check that out, it's going to be out soon, and Louisa is going to be on it. So I'm so happy to do this. And again, as always, guys, thank you for all the support. Thank you for comments and thumbs up on this film. Much really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't because there's just so much that's going to come out of the movie review on the TTLfilms channel. And as always, until then, see you later. No, goodbye. You suck.
I gave a smile. You could just cut me off.